So you never get a second chance to make a first impression. That's kind of tried and true, right? Same goes for your first day of teaching. It's a very important and very impactful day, and it's going to set the tone for the rest of your school year. And the thing they probably didn't tell you in college or your teaching program about your first day, it has nothing to do with writing a lesson plan. Stay with me. Your first day, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about relationships, procedures, teaching, all that good stuff. That's what we're going to get into today in this video on the things I wish I knew about the first day of teaching. A lot of you might be a little nervous and scared about your first day, apprehensive, wondering if your Pinterest-worthy classroom is going to excite the kids or overstimulate the kids. Probably. But that's not the most important thing. And also, don't tell your administrator I said this, and this is coming from a former administrator, lesson plan is not the most important part of your first day of school. Because what lesson are you trying to teach kids that you don't know? Something to think about. So first, I would say build relationships. Build relationships. Learn your children. Learn your students. Learn these little human beings. Learn what they like. Learn what they don't like. Learn their hobbies. Learn their names. You can say their names. If you could say Johansson, Nowakowski, Dirk Nowitzki, if you can say that, you can say these kids' names. So learn their names. Learn how to say them correctly. Learn their nicknames. Learn what they want to be called. Learn their family history in the school. If you have siblings, that's going to be so important. I have another video coming on that. But learn your students. And then after you learn your students, then you talk about procedures. Teach them. Your first part of teaching them is teaching them how to learn in your classroom. Teach them your expectation. Teach them your procedures. Teach how to raise your hand. Do you want to raise your hand? Teach hand signals if you have them. We'll have a whole video on that. Teach how to go to the bathroom, how to come in, how to hang your coats, how to dismiss, how to transition. These are very important things that you want to teach on the first day. These are procedures. This is how we want to proceed in my classroom. Governed by rules of my classroom, of course, but you want to let them know how to meet success in your room. That's important. That's your first day goal. Build relationships, procedures. Then you might want to teach something if you get to teaching. But you really just want to set the pace and figure out your students. You probably want to do a lot more pre-testing and figure out where they're at, where their levels are at, what they lost on the summertime before you start teaching. Because how can you teach kids that you don't know where they're at? Got to meet these students where they're at. That's important. So it's things to think about. So first day, again, build relationships. Go over your procedures. Get some buy-in for your procedures. Another video is coming on that. But not just lay down the law, this is my rules, this is what's going on. You don't want to sound like that. You're not a warden, you're a teacher, you're an educator, and you're a person. And you're dealing with little people. Remember that. That's important to keep that in your focal point. So I'm gonna say something crazy. When I first started teaching, I just was kind of thrown to the wolves. So I didn't really have anything but my personality, but my charisma back then. And it was fourth grade, so they're like lost kids. I feel like the fourth and the seventh grade are the two grades where they like don't really have any goals. Their hormonal changes are going on in their bodies to a certain point, but they're not fifth grade looking forward to go to middle school, and they're not eighth grade looking forward to go to high school. So they're kind of like middle child, and they're just there existing. And they will test their patience, something crazy. But yeah, I started fourth grade, and I just got to learn the kids because I didn't really know what I was doing at first. So I was like, let me build these relationships and figure out how to deal with this child or this behavior or this parent or this whatever. That was my major goal of my first couple days of school. Figure out how to teach, you know, at the same time the kids are figuring out how to learn. So like it was kind of cool for me, but most of you know how to teach. That's the easy part. That's the beautiful part about it. If you know how to teach, that could go on the back burner because now you have to learn this child and know how to teach this child. That's something they don't really tell you in college. They don't say learn the students, build relationships, get in the neighborhood, learn the community. That's important. That's going to be super important, and it's going to really dictate your next 180 days of school. So really build relationships, learn your students, then we'll get to procedures. It's important. Greet them at the door, figure out their names quickly, figure out how to pronounce their name, figure out if they want to be called a nickname. Figure out all those things, get to know that person, make your first impression impactful. Then work on procedures. Then work on rules. Then at some point you might want to teach something, but you more so teaching them about what you expect in a classroom. Expectations. What's your goal for them? What's their goal for you? What do they want from you? What do they want to learn? What do they want to get better at? It's important to build those relationships and figure out what you're going to be dealing with and doing for the next 179 days of your school year. They need to figure it out as well. So it's an introduction period. You have time to teach, trust me. And this is coming from a former administrator. You have time to teach, but you do not have time to reestablish relationships if you already start off on the wrong foot. So set the pace, hit the ground running, apply these strategies, be great. You got this. You got this. So just remember, students learn from people they trust. Students learn from people they feel comfortable with. So you gotta start building those relationships day one. So here's the 3 strategies I'm going to give for this video on that note. 1, build relationships first. It's hard to make a first impression twice. You only get 1 chance. So build relationships. That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. Build relationships. Learn these children. Learn their names, their hobbies, their likes, their dislikes, their learning styles, how to differentiate, their preferred modality of learning. It's important. You gotta know what you're dealing with for the next 179 days if you're in a 180-day school year. You have to learn these students. That's first and foremost. Next, procedures. You could say rules, but there's a better way to approach that. So procedures. How do you want your class to go and flow every single day? Do you want the kids to come in and just sit and drag, or do you want them to start their drill, to put their coats away, sharpen their pencils? Is there a certain time where that cuts off? How do you want them to go to the bathroom? How do you want them to raise their hand? So many different things. Set the pace, set the procedures, get it down, get your class going and flowing the way you want it to be. Get all your procedures down. That's number 2. Number 3, you got to teach at some point. But you have time for that. You got to learn how to teach before you can teach. You got to learn how to teach this child, this student, this person, this little human being before you can teach. Think about those things. Those 3 things will get you a very, very, very long way throughout your 180-day school year. Or, I don't know, some people go to school longer. That's wild. But I commend you. More power to you. Veteran teachers, I want you to think back to your first day of teaching. Think about what you wish you knew. Think about what you went through. Think about what you dealt with. It could have been fixed if you knew what you know now. And just what do you remember from that day? Feel free to share that in the comments. Things that you've learned over the years that you would love to share and impart your wisdom with the new generation of new teachers.